Like my uncles a mile before they came because they was full of cologne. You realize, man, that's some real game. The chest hair thing, I don't know what it is, but it's just like I had a woman tell me that I dressed like I smelled good. And I was just like, well, goddamn. Oh, what up, Chris? Yeah, we had to get everything straightened up, but my guy with Sporadics is here. Got some good news with that. Miles, on Mondays and Thursdays at 7:30, we got to set up like we used to do for Mark Rogers. To make sure that my sound is on is on because it's fucking up the money right now. So like I don't know what the hell's up with my AirPods and everything else, but like but yeah. But anyways, what was best? Oh, yeah, my bad. My show, Big Games BS, blah, 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 blah. TheHumidor.com. TheHumidor.com, the go-to website for all things tobacco related. Make sure. She's probably at the beginning. Oh, make sure that you go and you support me with that. Y'all know what that is. We'll give them a better shout out on Friday when there's less to talk about. Inside the world's greatest cigar lounge, Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. It's like everybody knows your name. It's like one of those good. It's like Cheers with a mob twist. Your ass can be found in the retention pond if you want to get out of pocket. People get out of pocket, and we have a good way of putting them back in that pocket. And it doesn't tap your pockets, but it's a cool vibe, live music, all kinds of stuff here. Hey, listen, I'm all about making sure that my listeners get a chance to thrive and flourish. Everybody knows my guy, Big Cheese. Chef Grande Queso on your IGs and on your Twitters, the guy who does all my tailgates. If you have a food truck or you're really, really good at cooking and you want to come out on, I think we put Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We are looking for somebody to come and cook and be able, because we grown. We popping every night now. So yeah. Now I'm gonna warn you, if your shit ain't good, we will talk about your ass and you will be upset. But if you have good food and you want an opportunity to make some bread, we literally just need you to be out there, out on the back patio. Or if it's raining, we'll bring you on the inside. Basically, people come to you, charge what you want to charge, get your bread up. Just make sure that it's good and that you're not making me look bad. A lot of different things have gone on. I want to start off by saying that it's that time of year. I make announcements for things that I'm going to do. I want to make sure you guys realize this. I'm doing it whether you help or not. Your help can make it bigger. So I'm raising money for the birds. I already got 200 birds. We moving them birds out east in Jacksonville. We also have about 200 birds in Tallahassee. I partner with former Florida State Seminole, and one of my mentors. I've known Hit and Goo Battle since I was about 10 years old. And Goo, we're gonna come to the city, different cities. It's Atlanta, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and I believe Fort Lauderdale, Orlando as well. And we're giving out birds. Now with theirs, they're just giving it's vouchers. But what I like to do, which you've seen me do the last 2 years, is I like to give full Thanksgiving meals. So we're raising funds. You can go on my social, like we're raising funds. I also need volunteers. It's going to be November 12th in every one of those cities. So I need some volunteers in Jacksonville. Any of you guys have connections with grocers that could just let me go in and just make a bulk buy. But if you want to help contribute money to that bulk buy, I'm gonna probably get them. I'm gonna get each person. We're gonna get 2 to 3 cans of greens, 2 to 3 cans of yams, some rice, some beans, and then probably some Hawaiian rolls. So we're looking at like a family of 4 that could feed. Oh, excuse me, not Hawaiian rolls, some cornbread. So like just so they can have a good meal for Thanksgiving. I think everybody deserves to. If you can't like get a good warm meal, they can take that voucher to Publix and go buy a turkey or a ham this year. So that's something that we're looking for. And I had that on there, Miles. I don't know if you did you get the email yet? But you don't have to post that. That's just for people to know. Coach Norvell is I saw a tweet. I want to make sure I put that up. His nonprofit, Keep Climbing FF. I don't even think I followed them. That's a shame. And I'm going to do this because Coach Norvell bought a book bag this summer for that represented every player on the team. Really dope guy. Created to make a true impact serving the needs of others. They're partnered with Sable Palm Elementary for a winter coat drive. So you can scan, there's a code for you to be able to donate, or you can go to keepclimbingfamilyfoundation.org. If you're looking for things to do during this holiday season to be able to bless others, if you had a good year, go bless others out there. And before I get into the general BS about everyday else, I was on TMZ on Monday. For those who don't know, and shout out to the people who actually paid attention and watched. It was kind of cool. I didn't realize that people even really watch TMZ like that. I don't watch TV. So I watch sports. That's about all I watch. And and so I talked about Kanye and Emmett Till, and I just give you a brief little summation with this. I don't hate Kanye. I'm currently wearing Yeezys right now. I will never stop wearing Yeezys. Me and Danny used to talk about boycotting. I don't necessarily really believe in boycotting things that I really, really like. Unless you like literally come up and kick my kid and talk about my mama, like on that, I probably, if it's a good product, I'm probably going to use it, begrudgingly maybe, but I'm probably going to use it. Kanye is not canceled. Kanye still has, like, Kanye been on every fucking platform in America. Now, what Kanye said some things right. We talked about that on the show. But what Kanye misses me is when he talks about, I now know what it feels like to be George Floyd. Like, no, you don't. Like, lay on the ground and let me put my knee and all my weight on your neck. Now he's like, I feel like Emmett Till. Like, the Emmett Till video, and this is me being transparent with you guys. You've seen enough of me to know that I really don't give a fuck. The racist word doesn't bother me, right? I don't know why it bothers white people that much if you're not racist. What's my boy? He said he can't hear. I'm not sure if he's at the beginning. No, I'm saying put up Jason Cummings. What does that say? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Though that is talking about sports. It's actually that'll get me to the next tweet to share. But Emmett Till, the Eyes on the Prize video where they go to the Emmett Till. If you haven't been to the National Black History Museum, go check it out. It is wow and powerful. And what they did to Emmett Till was so strong that it's probably one of the reasons why I've never been with a white woman in my life. I'm terrified. That boy, and then to find out now later on that he had a stuttering problem that sounded like a whistle, that terrified me that somebody would go through those extents just because you whistled at somebody. And that was not that long ago. Like my mother, those people in that generation are still alive. Matter of fact, the lady who accused him is still alive to this day. And now they're going back and try to retroact some stuff, but whatever, man. But my man, Javon Cummins brought up one of my favorite places in the world to visit, Sosua, which if you follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, you follow me on IG, the nickname is Sosua, Sosua Stout. It used to be Sosua Slim, I'm looking for you today, Elon Muskie. My dog, Big Game James, is looking for his parole. But this chick here, what's her name? It, Modest T Mama. I don't agree with the things that she says a lot, but I followed her because she went in on a woman. Like, just a woman was like, men are ugly, compared to women or something like that. And she said if somebody put a water hose to some of y'all face to take off that makeup and the fake eyelashes, y'all would be ugly too. And like, I saw it and then everybody went in. But this chick, like, women love to post things like stay out of men's business. Right. And excuse me, women like to tell men to stay out of women's business, but women stay in men's business. So this chick, whatever her name is, men really go to the DR and Colombia for prostitutes. One, we go to Sosua in these places because they're beautiful venues, the water and other stuff. And the wild part is, yes, there are women there, but there's other things that you can go do, mind you, ma'am. But $40 is $40. It's a little bit cheap. Like, just to put it in perspective, with these think pieces, you have to pay $500. Like, there's one ugly. Excuse me. There's a interesting looking lady who is also a model who put out that because she's like, makeup is the devil. Who put out that, you got to take me on, you got to Uber me, you got to pick me up, you got to take me to a high class restaurant, you got to take me to all these different things, all these things that I have to do. Like, that's going to probably cost me about $1,000 for that one night. And I might not. Hold on. I can't even. Oh, never mind. Who don't even know, right? That you might not hit. You might spend $1,000. That's what they're expecting, right? Do you realize that a plane trip, round trip to Sosua is $300? And everything is $40 down there. It is cheaper for you to stay in, and you can stay in a 2-bedroom apartment down there for $60. It is cheaper for you to go down to Sosua for like 3 to 4 days, get your feel, and then come back than to take some of these American women on dates. And you don't have the attachment. And honest to God, it's true. If you want, you can just be attached to that chick. It's cheaper for you to go fly out the country, get your passport stamped, than to be with an American chick. I want you to think about that, women, in this economy. And just to get nagged and to be told that you're not doing enough and all these other things. Yeah. And those, I'm using my boy Brandon as the example. My boy Brandon literally they were cooking for him. They were cleaning. They were doing all this stuff because they were trying to get shows. But I say that to say is women go down there to get BBLs. They go down there to get tummy tucks. They go down there to get teeth. They go down, like, y'all could go down there for all of these other things, but and the wild part is that everybody expects something. So basically, you're prostituting up here, and that's what this modesty mama. Y'all be prostituting all up and down our timeline. But when the man decides they want prostitution in Spanish, now it's a problem. And then she put prostitution equals good. Prostitution equals bad. It is just funny. When you think about it, it's just like, what it comes down to is hating. And shout out to Sosua. If you go to Sosua, you got to holler at my guy Flip Flop. Good wings, got grits, got everything that you possibly need to be successful. And to clean it up, it's holiday season. I forgot to put this announcement out. This is my bad. I blame white people for a lot of things. And I didn't protect y'all this year. If you go to the last one on that, you'll see what happened. I have told you guys numerous times during Halloween, nothing good will come from blackface. Now, I also am a defender of what's not blackface, because that boy at Florida State is just a dark-ass Indian. And I feel bad for him. But nothing good comes from being dressed in blackface. And these young men and ladies decided that they wanted to dress in blackface, and not just dress in blackface, because I think, let's clear some things up. Blackface is offensive because you don't know the history of it, but it comes down to only the negative stereotypes. How dark our skin is, how big our lips are, and how red they are compared to our skin, how big our eyes are, how big our noses are. Nothing like if you did this and you had us in suits, or if you did this and you had us like rushing for 3,000 yards or something like that. If you did this and you enhanced or you brought up all the great things about what black people do, it would be less. But normally it's used to show inferiority. Now, there's also it is stereotypical, but when you sprinkle in the other stereotypical shit, it becomes worse. So not only did they go in, because there's people who listen to this on SoundCloud, and that's why I talk over the videos, people. Some people don't know. But when you look at the fact that they wore their prisoner, their inmates, and their guards were women, white women, it's just tough. So just push play real quick on that, Miles, and you'll just see. We don't have to show the whole thing, but like it's tough. Now they have docs these people, which if you don't know what docs means, that means they know everything about them now. And their families, the high schools, their friends, and all this stuff right here. And like I think if they would have just kept it maybe at the normal blackface, it wouldn't be as bad. But now that you had to like, it was wild as this in Utah, where there's maybe 1,500 black people, and most of them play on the sports teams. So it's like you actually have a good representation in front of you of the best qualities of black people. You have the Utah Jazz. You have the Utah Utes now who bring in a bunch of black people from Florida. And you got BYU who all of a sudden there's a bunch of black Mormons now. Like you got good ones that you can emulate. And I just don't understand. And I actually didn't show it, but I'm going to show you how to dress like a black. I'm going to send this to you real quick, Miles. It is a better way to dress as a black person. And we all know they're black than going blackface. Like there was a guy who lost a contract. They got it back now though. For lost the contract for building the FSU student union because he decided that he wanted to dress as Bob Marley for a Halloween party. And he went blackface, even though Bob Marley is lighter than me. So like it's like going blackface to be me. I just sent it to you. So if you just pull that Yeah. Because I'm not even gonna go too much, but this is how you show somebody. This guy actually, you don't have to show this no more, Mom. This guy actually did a really, really good job of dressing like a notable unicorn, African American unicorn. These people, this type of person, is starting to become extinct. But this guy was actually pretty good. There's only one thing he could have done a little bit better. Maybe there's some unique sayings that this person has, but he got it right. And when you get it right, you have to applaud people for doing it right. And if you want to go follow him, give him a little, give him some love. It's at Hospitality Noel, and great guy, in my opinion. But that's recognizable to me. Like you'll see it here in a second. Like he's got the tomahawks are properly placed. He's got his helmet on. I had that many hawks. He's got the 36 there. The only thing he could have probably done was, I would have appreciated if he would have got dark. I want to be dark skinned. I appreciate him not doing it, but maybe some MFTK gear would have helped. But yeah, you know what? I'm a khaki short guy. I'm not a long khaki, but sometimes you can't go all ethnic. You can't go all the way ethnic, man. But it's just getting away from that because about to get into sports, but just a lot of wild shit happened that was outside of sports that we got to talk about because that's why I get paid. But the last thing I want to do is say what's sad that happened around Halloween as well is rapper of notable mumble rap group, but they got some bangers though. Migos, the best one, the one that could actually really rap. Takeoff was murdered in a dice game. A lot of things, a lot of stuff went into this, but a lot of things are going on and people are talking about stuff. But one of the things that I wanted to make this a part of my hate o'clock, but there's another more pressing thing that is going to be my hate o'clock is People die, in particular, celebrities and black men die. And then all of a sudden we write think pieces about what we're supposed to do and not what you're supposed to do and what as when you're rich. So my man was just minding his business, and there's some stuff that's coming out and whatever. It just happened. People are too violent. People just they go from not being able to take an L to the other extreme entirely too quick. But I don't like how people say this. Like it's these think pieces and stuff that like, what was he doing to why was he even there? And I'm like, because he wanted to shoot dice.
It was a bowling alley.
It was a boat. Why wouldn't he be there? And they're like, well, he's here. You should be. They make it seem like if the goal is to get rich and to stay in your house, then I think a lot of y'all are missing the point about being rich. If the goal is to, and the wild part is this. Let's think about now. They say this is the problem with being a gangster and being gangster rap. My man was doing the most non-gangster things, posted up on the wall and got shot. And there's a lot of other things that are coming on. Now, what I want to say is this. Think about rappers like Young Dolph, who I was just starting to like, because I didn't really know him, from Memphis. Young Dolph got murdered getting fucking cookies. The rapper Peanut Butter and Jelly, or whatever the fuck his name is. Sorry, don't mean to disrespect the dead. Just never listened to any of your music before. This man was murdered eating fucking waffles. Jam Master Jay was murdered while he was doing a giveaway back in his hood. Some guy named Trouble, who actually didn't realize I had heard a song, because a lot of these guys, I know Takeoff, but a lot of these guys died. And I didn't even realize that I knew their music. It's on the radio. But the guy Trouble was laying in the bed with some chick he was just with. People get killed every day for shit that doesn't, like, you don't have to be doing gangster shit. Typically, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what happens when you're doing gangster shit? What happens when you're doing gangster shit? You're on alert. Like, you kind of start to see things coming. And like what guy Till Dog said, and what was wild about that is what you find out is that the only people who were armed there were the security. So that just makes this whole thing wild. And I am a Jay Prince fan. But Jay Prince, bro, you got some explaining to do on this one. And the last part I want to say is, before we get into it, because that's when we found out, this is why I don't believe in the checking in shit. Because it's wild. And Shakira Stevens was there, who's, if you follow boxing, is a really good boxer. There's a lot of people with money there. So a bunch of broke people were making comments about all of this stuff, man. And all I say is just sad. It's something that I think a lot of people should start doing when sad things like this happen. It's just to say, man, that's fucked up. And all right, moving on to that holiday season, we celebrate Christmas in my house. I have a bet with one of my good friends from high school, Brian, that when Florida State beats the fuck out of Miami, he has to celebrate Christmas. Excuse me, he has to wear FSU gear. And then if we lose, I can't celebrate Christmas till Black Friday. Or can't put Christmas shit up and all this other different things. I hate you people that say we haven't got to Thanksgiving yet. Why Christmas decoration? Who celebrates Thanksgiving for an entire month? All I want to do is eat. I am about to start playing This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. I am mad at Starbucks right now because we ain't got no holiday cups yet. It's due November 1st. Y'all know the drill. And where the fuck is my my sugar plum danishes? It's the only time of year that I really buy from the bakery. I get my pumpkin muffins in October, and I want my goddamn sugar plum Danish. I don't really drink all the other stuff. I drink my coffee black, but I celebrate Christmas all year. Let's be honest with each other. The actual Christmas holiday is stressful and sucks. We just like the time of year because this is the only time of year that people are kind of a little bit nicer. But that's my bad, really, on all this stuff. Going to sports. One of the things that we have spoken for here on the Sports Den is black excellence. Love black excellence. I don't even know how to say his name, but Imy is one of those black men that will go down in history as like just a goat of being great. Goat of being great. This man is dating or whatever his relationship is with Nia Long. He's the head coach of the Boston Celtics. He is a damn good coach that is like most men who are powerful and really, really good. They like women. Now, he happens to looks like he has a propensity to like mid-white women. Like, I don't know what the truth was in all of this, but what we do know is that he got slapped with a suspension that was completely unfair compared to what he did. He had consensual relations allegedly with somebody, and he got suspended for a year. Well, you got people who do racist shit and they're forced to go sell for billions of dollars and make a come up. Whereas this man has been suspended by the Celtics. The Celtics know that he's a good coach. But he's such a good coach that the Brooklyn Nets have gotten rid of Steve Nash and are allegedly coming after Imy. Knowing his history further proves my point. There is no such thing as cancel culture if you're fucking good. And you know what happens when he goes there? We need the sound for this one right here. And this is the first thing I thought when he went to Brooklyn, is that my man is on the come up better. Like, he's got some, and I posted something and my boy G Foss was just like, James, you wildin', dog. But just for those who, again, everybody's not, if you're good at your job, you're not going to be canceled. This man's going in conference. So he's still in the Eastern Conference, all because one of your execs couldn't control his bitch. Y'all gonna learn to stop being petty. Control your hoe. Like, it's kind of like 40-year-old virgin. I wish I could find it. Hey, man, your hoe's out of control. Why is she talking to me like that? Like, it's just, but if you can click on the video, because that's a video. And this is what I was thinking the minute that this happened. I don't know if the sound is.
Bitches better, money, my clothes better, my shoes better. I work harder. Better ingredients, better pizza, better bitches, better money, my clothes better, my shoes better. I work harder.
That's what Ime is saying right now. Everything about my life is better than yours right now. I got Kyrie Irving, I got Kevin Durant, I got the guy who misses every shot. But this is, if you go to my guy, the New York mayor, you got a better mayor. I don't know who Boston's mayor is. I'm sorry, Miles. I know you're a Bostonian, and I'm not trying to rip the city or not anything, but New York's mayor is a gym, dog. Like, I don't know what his politics are. He could be really, really bad. But this man is a walking soundbite from his love of the smell of good weed.
Yeah.
To just stuff like this. I fuck with mayors like this. And this is probably why a lot of y'all get mad at me about like my relationship with Mayor Curry here in Jacksonville. But I fucks with Lenny Curry because of some other stuff. I don't agree with all his politics, but I fucks with him personally. I fucks with New York's mayor, though.
I would tell you I met a shorty there, but I can't say that on TV.
That's what he's going to say right there.
But
when they ask him about, what happened. Hold on. Excuse me, Coach Ime. Can you tell us exactly what happened in Boston?
I would tell you I met a shorty there, but I can't say that on TV.
Coach Ime, out of all the places, why would you choose the Brooklyn Nets? Like, what was it about the Brooklyn Nets that made you want to be in this organization?
I would tell you I met a shorty there, but I can't say that on TV. But and you're right.
I'm sorry. It's just the way like he sounds like an old person. But here's the first week of Ime being with the Brooklyn Nets. And one of the women is all the women in the office are gonna get curious, and they're gonna want to see him. They're gonna want to know what was all of the commotion about with him in Brooklyn. And they're gonna be like, "Hey, man, Coach, we heard about you, Coach. We need you to come on in here, Coach. Can you please bless us, Coach? We want to know, we want to meet you." And this is what he's gonna respond.
Good night, sweetheart. Give me that hand.
Lee Corso. It should be elder abuse at this point. I'm sorry. Is it crass? Yes. But did he cheat on Nia Long? Probably. But as we told y'all, Nia Long knows she ain't getting no better than this. Like all the women who know their worth, it ain't many of us like this. When men know their worth, they know that you got to share. So, and sharing is caring if you really think about it. But trade deadlines coming up here in NFL, and so many big things happen. Chicago went and got so many teams have made decisions that impact them right now because they want to win games. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on a parallel mirroring each other from what they had with the Urban Meyer tender, as well as Doug Peterson, former Super Bowl winning coach. Both were 2-6 at this point. It doesn't look like the Jags are going to getting really any better than they were before. And when everybody thought that Garbage Ben Barkley, aka Trent Baalke, was going to just sit on his laurels and not do anything, while every other GM with competence was out here making trades to get better for this season so that they didn't lose, Baalke decided that, you know what, his mission with the Jacksonville Jaguars is to make them lose so that they could do something that is unprecedented. Have consecutive first overall picks. That's what they're going to do. That is what his mission is. So what did he do? He made a trade for suspended wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, Calvin Ridley. Now, I know what you're thinking. Calvin Ridley is a good wide receiver. Calvin Ridley is a rookie wide in his rookie contract, right? That's very true. All those things are true. But what you're missing is the fact that everybody picked on Calvin Ridley for being my age. Calvin Ridley Jr. is 27 years old right now. In his rookie deal. He can't play. So that means he'll be 28 years old next year. That means you went and got a wide receiver that is older than Christian Kirk, who's like in his third, this is his third contract. You went and got the eldest wide receiver that's on your team is now going to be a part of, is going to be one of the youngest in NFL years. On top of it, you cannot use him for this year up to this point. He does absolutely nothing for you. See, trade deadlines are historically used. I'm going to say historically because this is what you can do it for whatever you want. It is your right as a general manager to do whatever the fuck it is you want to do with your team. But historically, trade deadlines are used to be able to get teams in a better position so that they can win. But they're not. And this is my initial thoughts when it came to this trade. Now, I'm going to talk about the optics of the trade, but this is when you think about this is what this really was. And I thought about it, and it just doesn't make any sense, man. It makes absolutely no sense. The Jags front office is trying. But to be honest with you, they're a bunch of good for nothing tricksters. That's all. That's all they are, man. And I told you guys that Doug Peterson is such a good coach that he's going to take this talent on this roster, and you're going to see them be average for the first time, and you're going to think average is improvement. But they still have the exact same record. Now, what I am going to say is what bothers me is guys like Danny Parkins, a Chicago sports writer or whatever, and the most lazy act of journalism, because they always get roasted. And I'm starting to think that people do this because you need attention. Like somebody's not stroking your ego enough, or you suck. All of that stuff right there. And he puts, I don't think I've ever seen a trade like Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars with that many stipulations. If Jaguar fans existed, I think they'd love it both for potential upside in the player acquired and creativity displayed by the front office. Fascinating move. Like, come on, guys. Jaguar fans are probably one of the most passionate fan base for the fact that they've dealt with so much. They got so good so quick that everybody thought that this was just a no-brainer, that this franchise was going to be consistently one of the best. But it didn't happen. But I'm trying to find, but bottom line is like the trade comes with I think a fifth overall pick right now. And if if the NFL comes in and says they're going to lift the suspension, it gets moved to a fourth pick. And then next year you're giving up a sixth pick. But if he makes the roster, 2024, if he's on the roster, then it becomes a fifth round pick. If he meets playing stipulations, it becomes a fourth round pick. If he restructures his deal, it becomes a second round pick. It's like a lot of ifs. But this one right here is funny, though. But basically, just going into my Jaguar coverage right here, you want to know what the Jaguars are like? This is basically a summation of what a Jaguars game looks like. If you've never watched one, this is the Jaguars. It's spelled out with Jaguars. Jumpstart a game with good defense. Acquire an early lead. Give up momentum on big plays. Underperform the rest of the game. Completely abandon the run. Restore hope with a fourth quarter score and still lose. Jaguars. I'm just telling you this. Jaguars care. Bold City Cap, E. Dilla, like some of the best people that I actually know. Like their fan base is just a tremendous. It's why I love sports media here in Jacksonville. It's so amazing. Like we don't listen to national media here.
At all.
National media gets the here in Jacksonville. I never realized understood because like somebody one of you I know like why is that, or is it this way? My bad. Why is that like? Is it? It kind of like reminds me like in the Shakespeare. I bite my thumb at thee. Do you bite your thumb at me? I do bite my thumb, but I do not know if it was at thee. It's in that direction. Anyways, you gotta watch. If you've never read Romeo and Juliet, you wouldn't know what that is. But I read some of you guys' takes and some of the free thinkers, and I know that it was concepts in high school that was whooping y'all ass. That's why y'all like what some of these free thinkers are saying. Like some of the basic shit is fucking with y'all. But bottom line is, if you want to know Big Game's take on this, if it could work next year. It's always next year for Jags fans, man. I ain't gonna lie. 10-10 is going next year. Y'all to fucking death. And that's, you know what? I put that on goddamn Facebook the other day. Stop talking to me. All you fucking black people who keep talking about Ye and Kyrie. Where y'all was at for me?
I know, right?
They just took my ass was on 10-10 heavy one day. Matter of fact, when shit was happening with black people, instead of giving the black man time off, they worked the black man harder. And then when my ass went to the hospital, you ain't heard from me on 10-10 since. Ain't not now one of y'all boycotted them trash ass things. Y'all just in there just listening. Ain't liked my goddamn YouTube channel. Ain't done none of that shit. Fuck y'all, man. Jimmy Sexton's season has returned. Jimmy Sexton is the devil. He basically just makes everything move. And if you don't know, Auburn fired their coach, Coach Harsons. This is what the cool thing about the South, right? Is that the South can do things to make everybody feel like they're less than, right? And what do you mean by that, James? What I mean by that is like the KKK. Most Jewish people look white if you didn't know. But the KKK absolutely hates them. They hate Northerners. They hate liberal. They hate just racist people hate everybody, right? And that's kind of what's cool about them is that they're consistent. Brian, and I use this to say, Brian Harsons got fired like a black man. He's from up north, and excuse me, out like Midwest. He came from Boise State, but Auburn fired Brian Harsons. But he Brian Harsons. They tried to fire him after the first year. Auburn fired Brian Harsons. They're expected to owe him more than $15 million in a buyout. Now, this is what Jimmy Sexton and SEC. I like the way they do business. They owe him all the money, regardless of if he gets another job. So, like now, he's probably gonna go like to Arizona State or something like that because he's more of a West Coast guy. And they owe him $7.5 million in 30 days. And that's a hell of a Christmas gift, man. Hell of a Christmas gift, boy. Do y'all understand like why I'm so pro NIL? Everybody talks about NIL is ruining money. But you can literally be so bad at your job that they decide to fire you and pay you handsomely to not do it. Nobody else gets that. But with Brian Harsons, Georgia Tech's coach, those being the first first shoes to drop, as well as many other ones. They're talking about Jimmy Sexton's potentially going to get Jimbo Fisher out of Texas A&M, which is going to be a blessing for him because he's going to get paid. The person that's the most rumored right now is Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders, who I want to put it out there. I hope he's successful. But as I have told you guys, there's one person that Deion Sanders cares about or gives a fuck about, and that's Deion Sanders. And with Deion Sanders, he even went on, again, not my words, CBS Sports. He said, I would be a fool not to entertain if a PWI came and talked to me. And I think he's out. It may not be this season. It is around the corner. He definitely is not going to be staying with Florida, with Jackson State for very long. Y'all got to get this shit out y'all head that he coming to Florida State because it's not going to happen. But Deion is what Deion is. Now, Deion is rumored to be up for the Auburn job. He's rumored to be up for the Georgia Tech job. He's rumored to be for numerous ones. But this is what his response was to rumors of him going to another school.
Coach, obviously, Auburn job opened earlier this week. Have you heard from the Tigers at all? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've heard from the Tigers. Jackson State, Oh, I thought you meant Jackson State. My bad. Sorry, fraudulent slip.
Now, so I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna do this to him because my guy Chuck Hobbs, who I love to death, amazing attorney. They ripped Jameis Winston so bad when Jameis Winston won the Heisman. They called him a country. They called him country and this. And I was like, man, I know a ton of country people that do it very, very good. And what I want to say is this. I hate when people try to use big words and don't know what they're using. Or they use the wrong big word. So if you go back, Miles, and play that one more time, I want y'all to listen to it. And then I'm going to tell you where he made the mistake.
Coach, obviously, Auburn job opened earlier this week. Have you heard from the Tigers at all? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've heard from the Tigers. Jackson State, Oh, I thought you meant Jackson State. My bad. Sorry, fraudulent slip.
So fraudulent slip.
Coach.
So fraudulent slip. What he meant was Freudian slip. So Freudian slip means you say the thing that's on your mind, but when you're trying to say something else. So like he wanted to say like, I'm super zoomed into Jackson State. That's all. But what's wild is while trying to say Freudian slip, he said fraudulent, which is actually a Freudian slip on his part. That's the wildest part. Because if we're being 100, like, it's not an attack on his personal character. It's just what he is. He is about one person, and he's been a fraud when it came to HBCUs and what he was talking about. It doesn't mean he didn't do anything. It just means that he's not in it. This is why the coaches are mad at him in the SWAC, because they'll be in the SWAC for most of their lives. And he's coming in and he's doing what anybody else would do. Right. Again, I'm not knocking him for doing it. I'm knocking him for how he's doing it. See, I wouldn't call you a fraud if you were just upfront. Right? Like, man, I come in, man, shit, fuck this. This is the only school that would give me a job, give me a try. I'm going to do everything in my power to build them up and have something to where whenever I leave, they're better than how I left it. That's all you had to say. But why not HBCUs? Why not this? Oh, I'm going to be here. Oh, this is where I'm going. Man, fuck that. You're not. And it's cool. I have no problems with that. But it's Freudian slip for the record. But I'm going to be honest with you, Dion. Because see, it's kind of like what we told with Miami fans, right? When they went and they got Manny Diaz. We said, y'all talking about Manny Diaz like he a goon, but see, we know little Manny. See, Manny got a degree from Florida State. We told y'all what Manny was and what he wasn't, right? But y'all didn't want to listen to us, Miami fans. So, let's just talk about what Dion really is, right? So Deion Sanders went to Florida State University. Doesn't have his degree from Florida State University like me, but he went to Florida State University. There was a rule when I came up during Florida State. A lot of Florida State fans got a chance to be introduced to this rule by Chris Ricks. It's called the Deion Sanders rule. Deion was notorious for not going to class and skipping finals. So they made the Deion Sanders rule that if you skipped your final, you were ineligible for the next game. See, if you went to class, because we have to take a philosophy class. Like, there's classes that they make all athletes at every school take because, one, they know it's probably an easy A. But like, if you show up to the fucking class, you'll learn something through osmosis. I know that's one of them words you're gonna have to look up now. But you would know what Freudian slip was. And then, but in another Deion trip, but Deion's one cool thing that I don't hate about it. Again, you gotta do what you think. But Deion is, it's kind of like also, but again, Deion's doing the same thing that Jimbo did. I'm not entertaining LSU. I'm not going to Texas A&M. The Texas A&M deal, I told y'all, this is when when Jimbo was leaving to go to that year was the year I got into writing and kind of got introduced to FSU fans as a pseudo beat writer. And I had all the information. It's right there. When I told people Jimbo Fisher was leaving for $75 million, it was so, I had to put it out because it was so specific from a source that was so good. And everybody told me I was crazy until he left for a 10-year, $75 million deal at the time. So we know coaches are supposed to say this, but I'm just saying, man, it is what it is, man. I love the fact that you are one of the best DBs to ever play this game. But lie to your pastor. You ain't got to lie to me. Kids are saying that if Deion Sanders left to go to Auburn, they would flip. I don't necessarily believe that, but I do know that he will bring a lot of momentum in recruiting to Auburn, which their recruiting has been dead since Harsons has been there. They're not ranked very high. They've got a couple of their top guys have already decided to decommit. But Deion does a great job of PR and flipping things. And nothing better than Deion with the flip is what happened in Houston, obviously, with Takeoff, as we were just talking. Deion Sanders is TMZ reports that Deion Sanders says he is forbidding his players to leave the hotel when they're in Houston because of what's going on. I got news for everybody. You can't leave your hotel when you're like, no school does that. Like when you fly into the city, like you're there, like from like you typically fly in on a Friday, no matter what the time the game is, you'll fly into Friday, right? And then you'll like around noon. So you get there by like 2 or 3, wherever you're going. And then you have meetings, walkthroughs, blah, blah, blah. Everything, basically your whole life is scheduled up until about 8 or 9 o'clock. You have most of the time you have the curfew at 11. And then I know Florida State had mandatory snack at 10. So you had to check in at 10. So there was no way you could go. I thought that when you travel places, like you could actually go and engage. Like, so when we went to Miami in 2002, my god brother is a big time Miami Hurricane fan. But I like Conch. And they got a place called Conch Heaven in Miami. Like when I go to Miami this weekend, my god brother knows, pick me up. We're going to Conch Heaven. Great crack conch, fries, and some hush puppies. And it's delicious. And I thought I was going to go get me some goddamn conch. And my coach told me I done lost my motherfucking mind if I think I'm leaving that hotel. And I didn't even know. I just assumed. And he said, nah. So, but PR, which is what Deion's good at, has got people thinking that Deion is like going above and beyond, like to make sure that his players are safe. When it's just simple common sense rule. Deion let the motherfuckers roam cities when they go out of town, unless it's like a bowl game or like or they're there for a lot of days. Even when we played the ACC championship here in Jacksonville, and we were over here for like a whole full day, we still didn't get to leave. The only time we got to leave was when we played bowl games and we were there for a whole week. But even then, there was all kinds of stipulations that came along with that. But Jimmy Sexton is going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of things going on, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Moving forward, just random stuff. This is fun. Just a random tweet. I just like this one. You don't know how to post it up. Y'all be praising Black excellence, but I support Black eyedness. We don't need to be excellent to be loved, celebrated, and valued. Being all right is good enough. Sometimes it's very difficult to just be great at everything, but like, let's just be all right. And what time we at? I was on that. 52. All right, cool. We're going to get to my hate o'clock, brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor shop. Go out there, the holiday season. We're about to, I'll know the Black Friday pricing coming up here soon, so we'll be promoting that. Go get you need a pump shot for Christmas. Men, women, whoever. Pump shotgun, 9mm, and probably like a 380. Those are all three kind of weapons that you should have for home defense. They got AR-15s. I have mine. It's a fun weapon to shoot. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'll probably be doing some stuff where I'm gonna go out to the range with my guy Rod Mills. We're gonna do some tactical training, but go there. If nothing else, take the self-defense course. Get yourself your concealed to carry for Christmas. Every American deserves a Second Amendment right. Make sure you know that stuff. Make sure you are well-versed into doing these things because it's important. People fought for it. I think you should have it. I think you should be able to do it in the proper manner. I'm not a guy it's not a magic. And you need to learn that it's not a fucking magic stick on a magic weapon. It's a weapon that comes with a responsibility, and you need to have people who are going to make sure you put the best weapon in your hands. Z and those guys at Green Acres will do that. Speaking of laws that people fought for, the Supreme Court has on the docket basically getting rid of affirmative action. Now, I've actually argued against affirmative action in a class before. So I can understand a little bit where people come from if you're thinking of it from an ignorant perspective. Like, I want you to realize this. And the same thing when people were talking about getting rid of basically the exemptions that brought foreigners over to get jobs because they were like, Mexicans are taking our jobs. Other people. I'm sorry. I've never had my job not taken away from me because of a Mexican that I'm going for. I've never had, and the Asians that are taking jobs, they're engineers, man. Like the people, the foreigners that are actually taking people's jobs are good. Why do you say that, James? I say that because when people use affirmative action, they look for the lowest common denominator to try to argue. I have one. All affirmative action is an opportunity to overcome and overturn something that was systemic by making fairness systemic. Now, what does systemic mean? Again, I know people have a hard time with words and understanding what it means. Systemic racism means that stuff was in law so strong that it just became normal everyday activities. And what is like, so when we look at the Good Old Boy Network, the Good Old Boy Network is white. And I'm not saying even you're doing it because of anything nefarious. I'm saying it's white because for decades, for centuries, the only people you were around were one type of people. There were literally laws put in place to make it difficult for you to do that. Even some of our most brilliant not transactions innovations have come by having to break that law. The heart transplant and surgeries that we think like this, Most Def has a phenomenal movie where he plays the African American who invented that, and he talks about the struggles that he had to go through. The doctor literally had to see him do this before and had to force to break laws in order to save people's lives. You need because you put laws in to prevent things, you need laws to actually do the 180, and maybe shorter than 60, 70 fucking years, we may have something. Because I always tell people, my mother was the first person to go to an integrated school. I ain't that old. Inclusion feels like oppression when the whole world was designed around you. Now, with that being said, I know I stand second to nobody. But the funny thing about affirmative action, same thing, the funny thing when people bash like government assistance is that you bash it when it comes to help the people and kind of make everything inclusive, but you love it. Like, so people hate welfare programs, right? But they love welfare programs for businesses, which we have to understand government subsidies is nothing more than corporate welfare. During like it was evil to give $1,500 to American citizens who needed it, but it wasn't evil to give millions and millions of dollars to the airline industry, to others who ended up going bankrupt anyway. It was evil to bail out banks, but it wasn't evil to bail out the banks who had bad loan practices, but it's evil to forgive student loan debt. I'd rather help people than I would else. But here's what's wild, right? You know what the truest form of affirmative action is? It's basically the same thing. Did you know that a lot of colleges give free access or exceptions to legacies? I'm not gonna lie to you. As an athlete, as affirmative action, so I put like my high school girlfriend, girl Rosalind. Rosalind was incredibly brilliant. Rosalind went to Florida State just like I did. Rosalind didn't bump somebody out, some white person out from getting an opportunity to go to Florida State. She made the standards. She was of the part. You know who did bump a white person probably from getting out of Florida State and a black person? Me. I didn't meet the standards academically. Test scores I did. Academically, I had a 2.3 GPA. There ain't a goddamn reason I should have been in nobody's college. Besides the fact that I run fast and hit people hard. Donors and staff members at schools, kids get first rights. You know what those are? Those are programs that don't make you have to earn it. Oh, listen. She's right. You can put that up there. Yeah, my bad. Let's not get it. Hold on, because that's a good point. Don't get it twisted. I got a 2.3 because I didn't do homework and didn't go to class. And like most of my classes in high school, 30% of 20 to 30% of your grade was turning in homework and being in class on time. When you give me multiple choice tests, man, I'm shit. That's how I got a 30 on the ACT as a sophomore and hung over. But And I'm not that great at math. Addition and multiplication, I'm really good at. It's the subtraction and dividing shit that I don't do very good at because my mind don't like that. I don't like giving shit like a way that doesn't add to it. But in the A squared plus B squared equals C squared shit fucks me up. Like I need numbers. I need true, like I'm too logical at times. And what people say is that it affirmative action creates the system of entitlement. And it's like it doesn't. It really doesn't. I don't even want equality, guys. I promise you. I don't. I want equity. I want the opportunity to leverage my situation to give me the best opportunities possible for me. I want equality and equity, if that makes sense. I don't want to be given an even playing field. To quote my friends who are in Marines, if the battlefield is even, you did a shitty job of preparing the battlefield. All I want is to be get the opportunity. And that's where football came from. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Is it equal? No. But I wasn't going to Harvard or anything like that. And what's wild is if you look at this tweet that's put up on our screen, 70% of people who go to Harvard, 43% of white Harvard freshmen were athletes, legacies, families of donors, or of staff. So that means 70% of white applicants would have not been accepted if they were not a part of the ALDS. So you can't argue that affirmative action isn't fair when you already have systems in place that aren't fair. So what that means is the system is even more lopsided to people who have not had the opportunity to be able to participate in capitalism and the economy and the different things of that nature for the longest period of time. I wish the world was just as rosy as what some of you guys think, or if it was in a vacuum to where you could just say that it's all equal, it's all that, but it's not. And it's not in a lot of different things. It's kind of like, I'm gonna tell you this. We had the man, what was the tight is? I can't even think of it. The Kelseys on the other day, and they were talking about how they don't know any white DBs, white corners, excuse me. So it's the position so hard they don't even let white people try. So you want to know that's not fair because there is a white corner in the NFL that's kind of good. His name, I'm trying to find his name because I don't know it off top. Somebody had to show me the name, dog. Where is it at? I can't find it. I know I have it. I know I had the clip. He plays for the Redskins. Nope. Anyways, the white boy plays for the Redskins. I put out a tweet. All his life he had to fight. And I had a white running back. I talked about Cole Mazza, and I had to tell him, I said, son, you got to be 2 times better than the black running backs. But I said, but the cool thing is, I only have to tell you this about sports. I don't have to tell you this about life.
Right.
All people really want. This is where I wish you guys would just understand and get rid of your political gangs for a second. Because there is one party that does seem, and I'm unfortunately part of that gang, that does seem hell-bent on just fucking up the current reality that we're all in. Most Americans, all they want to do is be able to earn a living and take care of their family and be left the fuck alone. If your policies don't match that, then I don't care. But this is what I will promise you, that Harvard isn't taking a black kid who is not good enough to meet Harvard standards. And that's what a lot of people have been brainwashed to believe. Same thing with like a white corner. If that bitch run a fofo, got good hips, and can shut down wide receivers and gets a ton of picks, that motherfucker gonna get drafted and picked up by everybody. It's just a situation where you guys gotta like stop being fooled and bamboozled by shit. But lastly, it's Miami Hate Week. Miami Hate Week. I want you to actually go find I want to end with Triple H thing with the WWE because I think that's a dope story. But Miami Hate Week is we play the University of Miami and it's good things. And I figure I should tell a story. And being so good they don't tonight. But Miami, we had we played against some of the best guys. But Miami fans have this thing. And I appreciate it. I envy it. It's kind of like I'm gonna do like what Kanye did with the Jews. I envy y'all because y'all just, it doesn't matter how bad you are. You really believe that you're the best. You have the best recruiting class, you have the best women, you have the best whatever, but you're gonna probably get your asses whooped. Not probably, you're going to. And damn, that's the white corner right there. But it's a situation where I'm gonna let you guys know this. And this is my alpha male clinic moment, which we're having a little shindig, guys. We're having bourbons and Botox. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna learn about how to become an alpha male, how to be the best, be the best you that you could possibly be. And I just got news for you guys. If you have to tell everybody you're the best, you know what you probably aren't? You're probably not the best, bro. And I want to show you people, everybody, how you can be the best and be the best possible you, enhance your performance. Don't be a Miami fan, or excuse me, don't be like a Miami fan. We're not excluding anybody, but come on out, check us out, learn about everything that they do at Alpha Male Clinic, and we'll go from there. But lastly, I just want you again. My point in life is what my mother always told me: is be so good that they can't deny you. People will always talk about. Okay, that's where it's at. It's Miles. It's right above the one right above trade deadline. You can be as vulgar. You can be as callous. You can be really whatever you want to be in life. You just have to win. And so when people try to use respectability politics, whether it's black people, whether it's white people, oh, they can't do this. Why does he have to say this? Why does he say, man, fuck? Why does it have to be, man, fuck them kids? Why can't you do it this way? Why can't you do it that way? Because I do it the way, because I know people respect results. And the results in the survey proves that the results work and that they're effective, and that the things that America loves have been since the beginning of time is sex, money, drugs, alcohol. And they don't give a fuck about kids. So here's a perfect example. I grew up in the Generation X era. You know what they showed constantly with Vince McMahon's show? And this talks about how they talked about, oh, what about the kids and their eyes and all the other stuff. They forced drugs, sex, alcohol, and violence down our throat because the bottom line always wins. If you care, prove it by affecting the bottom line. But go ahead and push play. Let's listen to Triple H talk about what went down.
But he's not really doing anything. And numbers are starting to tick up a little bit, right? So there's a moment in time where we get this letter from USA Network that it literally, the whole letter is DX has gone too far. This Degeneration X group has gone too far. They are no longer, between the 8 o'clock and the 9 o'clock hour, they are no longer allowed to use these words. Boom, boom, boom. They're
Monday
no
Night
longer
Raw
allowed
went
to
from
refer
8
to their
to 10.
genitals. They're no longer referred. Like, it's written out. And then from I don't remember the time, from 10 to 11, they're no longer allowed to say these things. They can use these words. They can do this. They can't do that. And Vince brought us a letter and he's like, well, here it is. And if these things aren't met, if these demands aren't followed to a T, you will no longer be on the air on USA Network, right? They get fired or you're no longer on the air. And Vince's like, well, see, you guys have crossed the line now. Here it is, black and white. What are we going to do about this? And we said, let us take the letter and use it on TV. Yes. And he was like, in what way? I said, we will make that into a comedy routine.
That is ridiculous.
And we did a.
Did he agree to this? He agreed to your idea.
Like, yep. And he was like, all right, make sure it's funny. But he's got a pretty warped sense of what's funny, so it was all right. But we did like a presidential podium, and the three of us got up there as if Sean was president, and we were standing behind him, and we went through the list of words, and they beeped the words we weren't allowed to say, and we said, this direct from USA, we indeed Generation X apologize for our attitudes. We will no longer say the words, and we went through the list, and then we will no longer refer to our massive genitalia. We went through this whole thing. So we turned it into this comedy routine. It was right at the point when Bill Clinton had just given the I did not sleep with that young intern, and that's how we ended it. And Shawn Michaels said, I did not sleep with that young intern. Matter of fact, I was up all night. We did it as a skit, put it on the air, did the rest of the show. Next day, we got a letter from USA that said, congratulations on the ratings last night. What DX did with our letter was hilarious. Congratulations on the success. Here's to many more years.
So push pause. So the reality of the situation is this. Nobody cares if it works. I tell my running backs this all the time. This is what it's supposed to do. But it might do this. Like 10% of the time. 90% of the time it does this. So if you don't do this, and you do that, and it don't work, I'm going to yell at you. But if it works, I'm not. And that was during the era where Stone Cold was cracking no beers and shoving them down his throat. The Rock was talking about shining something up, turning that some bitch sideways, and sticking it up somebody's candy ass, and all these different things. So I want people to stop trying to use sports, and I will say it's a sport, it's entertainment, for your morality compass.
Right.
Ime is fucking bad bitches, and he's good at his job, and he's going to be fucking bad bitches in New York now. And probably still banging the chick from Boston when he goes back home. You're going to see guys do suggestive things. You're going to see all of this stuff doing. You know how to prevent your kid from trying to go down these lanes? Be a fucking parent. I'm sorry. I know that's hard. That's controversial. But it is what it is. Jack Johnson was one of the best boxers of all time. And again, he pushed the envelope, banging white women and going across state lines. They tried to arrest him and send him again. Not too long ago, you could go to prison for that, man. I mean, I'm a parent. So this is the funny thing with all of this is I'm not worried about my kids being consonants. Trust me, them boys is hetero. I'm not worried about my boys hating white people because they're surrounded about good people. They hate people. They'll hate people who are bad people. But I'm also going to make sure my kids understand history and make sure everybody around me thinks. I don't care what you think. I just care that you start thinking. And that's been the problem in America, is that we stop thinking for ourselves. And we started calling people free thinkers who were on another side who are finally agreeing with us. That's not called free thinking. That's just somebody that's agreeable to you. Free thinker is going to always keep you on the edge. And that's what I plan on continuing to do. Man, I appreciate you guys coming around. Appreciate you guys chopping it up with me. And Friday, we're going to do our breakdown of Miami Hate Week. I hope Florida loses again. I don't even know. I think they play ATM. But anyways, I hope they lose. I hope all the bad things in the world. If you're a Miami fan, I hope all the bad things in the world happen to you and only you for this week. Then after that, we can be cool again. Hey, man, y'all have a great week.